Hi everyone, and welcome to my presentation today. My name is Babu, and I've made this presentation to take the opportunity to brief the Board of Directors about the issues and framing. Issues and framing is all about understanding deeply the problems. My presentation will seek to apply Melbourne Transport case study. My presentation will also seek to apply the three principles of framing an issues. My presentation will also identify what makes it strategic and what happens if it's not present. Finally, I will use an art of framing to make you deeply understanding my presentation. Before I start off my presentation today, I would like to take the opportunity to say something about the history of Melbourne Transport. Melbourne Transport has long been history in Australian transport context. The first railway line in Melbourne, Transport College Sandridge, has begun operating in 1854. While Australia was federated in 1901, the system was joined to the portfolio of the Department of Transport and Infrastructure. In 1980, the world of governance has changed. It has moved from public administration to new public management. The reason of the new public management was regarding economic rationalism. The aim was to allow private sector to invest and own public services. As of today, Melbourne transport system consists of train, tram, buses network run by privately owned franchises and operators, providing transport services over 126 million a year. Issues and framing. According to Bryson, there are three principles to frame issues in strategic organizational context. Phrase the question as something the organization can do something about and has several answers. Identify the factors that make issue strategic. Define the consequence of not addressing the issue. Framing the issue. What was the issue for privatizing Melbourne Transport? In 1997, Melbourne Transport has undergone a serious privatizing process for the purpose of keeping the transport services being efficient and effective to respond to the increased demands of transport services. Many local and international companies have been given a contract and authority to own and operate in Melbourne Transport. This has brought a positive change in the state economic development, as many people have been employed. However, there has been a growing consensus before privatizing, which was regarding service inefficiency and ineffectiveness in the transport, which was nearing to fail in providing response to the increased demands of transport services. There was also protests made by public transport workers demanding change in management and cost cutting, as this has attracted the involvement of the unions and media attention. As a result of this, following the announcement of the Premier Jeff Kennett's privatizing initiative, the matter has culminated to the attention of the Department of Transport and Infrastructure to take on privatizing process. Strategic issues. What is a strategic issue? A strategic issue is first of all an issue and resolving matter needing a decision or waiting for some clarifying future direction. Secondly, strategic issue can positively or negatively impact on the course and the direction of the organization. However, there are three strategic questions which are surrounded with this matter. What Victoria government is going to do? To whom it is going to do with this? How will they be or avoid any rivalry or competition? The state government's objective in franchises: to ensure cost cutting, to improve the quality of services, to increase number of passengers, to maintain the system and comply with all safety policies, to transfer risk to private sectors. What kind of franchise model? The franchise solution seemed to be rigorously designed as it was supporting individual franchises to operate effectively, while others have not been able to increase patronage due to the fact that it was out of control. And as a result of this, one of the main franchises have stopped operating, and government has come up with a new partnership, the government and operators. The government's initiative and the aim is to increase profits by encouraging the operators to contribute effectively and strategically to work with government to increase patronage in order to support the franchises. The government's role in this new plan was to develop policy for fair regulation, leadership in strategic planning system, safety monitoring and ticketing system, convergence of all transporters and services in one umbrella called Medlink. Operators' responsibility for this new plan is customer servicing, maintenance and hygiene management of employees. The art of framing. As I've discussed the issues and framing into three principles of organizational context, I would also like to show you in an art of framing the issues of Byron's ideas to make you understand exactly the issues for privatizing Melbourne transport. Was the real issue? The real issue, there has been service inefficiency and ineffectiveness and growing concerns for failing to respond to increased demand of transport, which has required to privatize the system in order to gain efficiency and effectiveness. The government has thought this. Why is it an issue? The government has thought this method might lead to state economic development. Who says an issue? The Prime Minister Kennedy has announced the privatization initiatives. What happens if it's not addressed? The government concerned with the involvement of unions in the protests, so it didn't want to lose mandate, or the matter being taken over. Can we do something about it to privatize a model of franchises? Should it be broken down? Yes, operators' franchises being in effectiveness and efficiency, and as well as to low cost to increase patronage. If you require any further details about this presentation, you can refer to this reference lists which I have provided here, and this is where I have gone through in order to form my presentation. I thank you very much at the end for listening to my presentation, and if you have any questions, you can refer to my email, and I'll one@flinders.edu.au. And thank you very much.